In 1851, Simon Lazarus emigrated from Prussia and started a small men's clothing store in Columbus, Ohio. Simon's two sons, Fred and Ralph, incorporated the store and renamed it F&R Lazarus. Fred Sr. then had 4 sons of his own, naming them Simon, Robert, Jeffrey, and Fred Jr. As a young boy, Fred Jr. had a burning desire to become a doctor. His dream was to follow in the footsteps of his uncle, a well-known doctor in Cincinnati. That dream came to an end at an early age, however, when Fred suffered a bout of scarlet fever and measles, leaving Fred with the scars of a tremor of the hands. This development forced Fred Jr. to reconcile himself to a career in the family's retail business. In 1907, Fred Jr. and his older brother went to their father and proposed a plan for major store expansion. Fred Sr., who had suffered a kidney ailment and had been turning over the business to his sons, agreed to the expansion. So in 1909, after pledging the family's whole estate as collateral on a loan, a 6-story building was constructed, housing what is believed to be the first department store passenger escalator in the United States. Fred Jr. was an innovator throughout his life. He was a pioneer in department store practices. He was the first in the country to group articles of clothing by size rather than price. Long before merchants began installment credit, he began offering big-ticket furniture items on a few pennies a day basis, so customers could enjoy it while paying for it. His was the first store to sell goods without any down payments. He always offered his customers value, and his personal philosophy was, "The customer is my closest friend." Another Lazarus innovation involved men's suits. Fred Jr. implemented one of the first men's big and tall shops in the country. He combed the county's driver's license applications and took notes on everybody taller than 5'10" and weighing more than 200 pounds. Fred Jr. then sent each one a personalized letter telling them about the new department's merchandise. In 1916, the Lazarus brothers, together with a Boston merchant, Lincoln Feline, formed the Retail Research Association. The organization's purpose was to exchange industry information and ideas while looking for ways to help each other's business. Fred Jr. saw the potential of this simple arrangement and wanted something greater. So on November 25, 1929, 4 family-owned retail giants, Feline, Lazarus, Abraham and Straus, and Bloomingdale's, pooled their interests and became Federated Department Stores. This new organization was soon to become the nation's largest and most profitable department store group. Earlier, in 1928, Lazarus had purchased Shillitoe's at a time when the store that was once the most prestigious store west of the Alleghenies had become ranked the 4th in sales in the city of Cincinnati. Within 1 year, under Fred Jr.'s leadership, sales jumped 50% and eventually regained the #1 position in Cincinnati retailing. As Federated started growing in numbers of stores, in sales, and in profits, Lazarus's basic idea was not to tell Federated stores what to do. Rather, it was to find out those things that a given store was doing better than others, study how it did so, then put these methods on the wall for others to benefit from. In the years between 1929 and 1967, Lazarus built Federated sales from $187 million to $1.8 billion. He became president of Federated in 1945 and chairman of the board in 1957. In 1965, he turned the CEO reins over to his son, and in 1967 relinquished the position of chairman, but was still actively at work in his Federated office as chairman of the executive committee until 1972. Fred Jr.'s civic involvements were numerous. He served on President Eisenhower's Committee on Government Contracts, the Citizens Committee for Reciprocal World Trade, and as president and founder of the Ohio Council of Retail Merchants, just to name a few. He was also a member of the Board of Governors of the Cincinnati Hebrew Union College. In 1961, served on the President's Committee on Equal Opportunities, and was actively working with many other organizations as well. Fred Lazarus Jr. was always looking for a better way. When he died in 1973, he was 88 years old. What he left behind was a living tribute to his leadership, a leading retail giant, innovations that change the way we live, and a support in the community that has directly and indirectly impacted upon all of us.